Hey, listener. Before we get into the good stuff, I just wanted to let you know, if you'd rather just get this entire audiobook at once and start listening to it immediately, just head over to my website at nickthacker.com/audio. That's NICKTHACKER.com/audio. Hello, thanks for listening. My name's Nick Thacker, and I'm the author of the book you're about to start listening to, The Atlantis Stone. It was originally published in 2012 with the title The Golden Crystal, and I have since relaunched it and reworked it. I've recently done that again, and the result is what you are about to hear. I've also done something that hasn't been done before, at least not to my knowledge, in this format. I've custom composed, orchestrated, and recorded some music that goes along with this version of the audiobook. The narration is the same. It's all by my good friend Mike Vendetti, but I've added the music to help underscore what's going on in the book, as well as to elevate the experience for the listener, you. I hope you enjoy it. Remember, all of this book is going to be split up into 15-minute segments or so, and released over the course of a year in this format, a podcast. If you'd rather just get all of it at once, because you've got a road trip coming up, or just like to experience audiobooks at your own pace, you can get it all together right now by going to my website, nickthacker.com. That's NICKTHACKER.com/audio. nickthacker.com/audio. Go there and use the code podcast2021, that's podcast2021, and you'll get a 20% discount for that, but actually for anything else you might find there that you want to read or listen to of mine. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let me tell you a little bit about this book and where it came from. Ever since I was a kid, I used to read anything I could get my hands on. Anything from the car manual on a long road trip to whatever I could reach for in the bathroom. As I got older and decided what I preferred to read, I ended up really leaning toward books like The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown or anything James Rowlands has written. These action-adventure books were so filled with history and science and fun and adventure that I just could not get enough of them. I read everything from Clive Cussler to Matthew Riley to Andy McDermott. Eventually, of course, I thought that it might be a smart idea to try to write my own book. I did not know how hard it would be, but I thought, hey, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Thus began a very painful, very long process of writing my very first book. It was absolutely not in the shape that it's in now. It was not even really readable. I gave it to somebody I met online who, for some reason, was a masochist enough to want to edit this drivel into something resembling a story, and he did. His name is Mike Morehouse, and he is still a good friend of mine, strangely enough. We kept in touch over the years. We've actually co-written before, and I consider him one of my close writer friends to this day. Now, the reason I wrote the book in the first place wasn't just because I was interested in reading these types of books, but I actually wrote it for my dad. Now, this was 2011, and that year, my grandfather had passed away. He was a big reader, just like I am, just like my dad is. And we used to swap paperback novels of authors we enjoyed and books that we liked. We all had mostly the same interests when it came to fiction as well. So when he passed away, I thought this would be a great opportunity to actually pen that novel I'd had kicking around my skull for a little while. I imagined my dad's face on Christmas when I would give it to him and he would just be blown away by this amazing book that was sure to be a bestseller and win the Pulitzer Prize and all kinds of things that, of course, never happened. But I did finish the book, against all odds, and against all odds, it was actually a good story. Now, like I said, it was very poorly written. That's where my friend Mike came in to rescue it, and then another friend named Mike read the audiobook version, which is the narration that you will hear. At the end of it all, I did have a hell of a gift to give my dad that Christmas morning. He was blown away, and of course if there was a magnet strong enough to adhere it to the refrigerator, I'm sure he would have put it there and left it there for all time. He claimed to love the book and say it was, one of his favorite books ever, of course, as dads are supposed to do, but I knew that I could do better. I knew that I could improve. Of course, as I wrote this book, I also had these ideas for things I wanted to put in there. And at the time, I had no intention of writing other books. This was going to be a one and done type thing. It was a bucket list item, if you will, something to see if I could do it. But inevitably, I finished the book and realized that I had a lot more ideas for books. I, at the time, just put them in an Evernote folder and forgot about them. But when I finished this first book, The Golden Crystal, people asked me what the next book was going to be. And I know they were just being nice. I know they were just trying to encourage me, but I assumed that meant I should probably write a second book. So I started one. That became The Depths. And then another one. That became The Enigma Strain. And here we are, about 30-something books later, and I'm a full-time author, living in Hawaii with my family, 2 dogs, and going to the beach as often as we want. It's a decent life, and I blame books for most of that success. This book was the one that started it all, and without my granddad, without my dad, it never would have happened. Without my wife, of course, without my family, it never would have seen the light of day. I'm going to end this with the original acknowledgments that I wrote for The Golden Crystal. I never changed them, of course, because those sentiments still ring true, even though it's been almost a decade since the book was written. So, here are the acknowledgments for The Golden Crystal. I really hope you enjoy this, and again, if you want to get all of it at once, go to my website, nickthacker.com/audio. I never thought I'd be writing the acknowledgments section of a real live book. It's been an amazing and thoroughly moving journey, and I'm more excited about this project than I thought possible. While I'm at the very beginning of what I hope to be my career, there are still and will always be people in my life who deserve my thanks and gratitude. First, to my beautiful, amazing, and humble wife, Em, you're a blessing in every way. I thank you for your undying love and support, and for pretending to like all the sections of this book, even the ones that never made it to print. To my family, friends, thanks for putting up with me for all these years. You've guided me, taught me, and corrected me along the way, and although I'll always be stubborn, you've definitely worn off on me. However good of a person I am is a reflection of you all. To my coworkers, my church family, and others, I know it's been unbelievably annoying to hear me call out daily word counts and look at this cover, how about this one, constantly, but I hope this makes it worth your while. If you're not into fiction or thrillers at all, then I'm just sorry to have bothered you so much. To Mike, my editor and friend who literally turned my hodgepodge manuscript into a viable story and hopefully a great read, you're amazing, and I can't thank you enough. Finally, above all else, I thank God for giving me the life and blessings I have. None of what I do would be possible without Him, and I hope to live a humble, honoring, and honest life filled with His presence and grace. Nick Thacker, August 2011. Round Rock, Texas. Hey, listener. This podcast is a year-long journey, but I get it. Sometimes we're in it for the destination, not the journey. If you want it all at once, right now, without having to wait a year, grab it here, nickthacker.com/audio. That's NICK PHACKER.com/audio. Oh, and if you use the code podcast2021 at checkout, I'll give you another 20% off.